Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the countdown of the best players to have worn jerseys 30 through 1 in NFL history. My name is Mike. I host a podcast called Sports and Real Shit. If it's your first time here, check out the podcast, of course, after you check out this episode in this series of the countdown. I've been having a good time. Hope you are as well. Hope you enjoy it. We're down to number 13. And if you follow this podcast or followed me for any period of time, you already know what number 13 is. You already know what time it is. So no need to take a long time and procrastinate here. Let's get right into it. Number 13 is special to me, man. When I first started watching football, I had no idea what football was, but one guy stood out. You know, the shoulder pads, I've said this on the podcast, the shoulder pads looked like they were styrofoam. I didn't know anything. I really didn't have anyone to explain football to me. But one guy stood out, and he quickly became my favorite player. And little did I know this guy was the greatest, maybe football player of all time. And I'm talking about Dan Marino. Danny Marino, Dan the Man. Some in Florida called him the arm of God. Hall of Famer, true GOAT. Daniel Constantine Marino Jr. I promise I didn't know that before I started searching it up, okay? I'm not a stalker like that. Dan Marino played 17 years for the Dolphins. When he retired, he held the passing attempts, passing completion, passing touchdown records. 61,361 yards, 420 touchdowns. Damn. 9-time Pro Bowler. 3-time All-Pro. 1984, he won the Offensive Player of the Year and the MVP. His rookie year, he only played 9 games, threw 20 touchdowns, and finished third in MVP voting. Ridiculous. 4 times he led the NFL in passing touchdowns. 3 times he led the NFL in, 4 times he led the NFL in passing yards. 3 times he led in passing touchdowns. 1 time he had 5,000 yards. 4 times he had 4,000 yards. Back when dudes were barely breaking 3,000. In 1984, the MVP year, he threw for 5,084 yards, 48 touchdowns. In 1985, 4,100, 37 yards, 30 touchdowns. 86, he threw 44 touchdowns. 33 fourth quarter comebacks, 47 game-winning drives. I can tell you as a Dolphin fan, you never felt out of it because there was always a chance with this guy. Very, very few quarterbacks have come around like that when you're like, no matter what the deficit is, we always have a chance with this dude. In my opinion, he has one MVP, by the way. He won MVP, like I said, in 1984. In my opinion, he should have won 3. He got the 84, he should have won 85, and he should have won 86. Why? Because he played in an era when they gave other positions a shot at the MVP. Meaning, today, the best quarterback wins MVP. Patrick Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, those guys are going to win MVP. They put up the best stats, they're going to win MVP. Other positions, they're not really even considered. No chance. Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor can have monster seasons. So what? You'll get Offensive Player of the Year. You will not win MVP. Back in Marino's day, that wasn't the case. In 85, he should have won MVP of the league. But they gave it to Marcus Allen, a running back, who had a stellar season. But again, today, stellar seasons by running backs don't matter. They don't get MVP. In 1986, when he throws 46 touchdowns, he doesn't win MVP. They give it to Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor is one of the GOATs. But today, Lawrence Taylor doesn't win MVP because they're only giving it to quarterbacks. Myles Garrett can get 50 sacks. He's not winning MVP. Dan Marino should have 3 MVPs, at least. So for now, he only has 1. He also played in the era where dudes could get killed. The quarterback can get touched. Today, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. You can't touch the quarterback. They can stand there all day and throw the ball for the most part, and their receivers can't get touched. After 5 yards, you can't bump them. And at no time can you hit them certain areas because they're defenseless. So they get to run right down the field and score as many touchdowns as they want without being touched. In Marino's days, you couldn't just throw the ball over the middle or you'll get your receiver killed. You wouldn't have any receivers to play with. But he still put up yards back then that most dudes today can't even see. Can't even get close to. Even in an era where the thing is wide, booty open. That's GOAT status. So when he was putting up 48 touchdowns and 44 touchdowns, the next closest in those years was in 84 was 32 touchdowns by Dave Craig and 25 touchdowns in 86 by Ken O'Brien. Today, Patrick Mahomes throws 50 touchdowns. The next closest was Andrew Luck with 39. When Patrick Mahomes throws 41 touchdowns, the next closest is Josh Allen with 35. That tells you the scale, the difference. Everybody today is putting up big numbers. 4,000 or 5,000 yards. That's easy money. But nobody in Marino's day was putting up 4,000 except for him, 5,000. 40 touchdowns. Dudes was barely making 30 in the mid-'80s. So the GOAT status that he gets, others who played in this era, unfortunately, probably don't get. Because the quarterbacks, they're protected. He wasn't protected. His knees got shot up. He got hit in the knees and his mobility got reduced as a result of it. Despite that, he was still one of the better quarterbacks at manipulating the pocket. So you see the film of Dan Marino, scooting around. He can't really run, but he's still able to evade tacklers and people coming to knock his head off. The guy was just the best, man. Besides the rocket arm, besides the accuracy and the quick release, his confidence. You'll see plays, you remember plays as a Dolphin fan, it's 4th down and, like 1 or 2, and he'll go deep. Who does that? Specifically, remember that play to Irving Fryer against the Patriots. I think it was his first game back from his Achilles injury. 4th down and short yardage, and he throws a touchdown deep to Irving Fryer. Nobody does that. That's why Dan Marino was that dude. That's why you can call me biased. I will contend that there is no quarterback like him. Some have come close. But if Dan Marino played today, he's throwing, no lie, 6,000 yards. His accuracy was unmatched. His release was unmatched. So yeah, Dan Marino was the best 13. And yeah, he was the GOAT quarterback. Yes, Brady has all the Super Bowls, but that's a team accomplishment. Dan Marino didn't play on the greatest teams with the Dolphins. Unfortunately for us, he did not. His defenses weren't really great. Never really had a running game. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers does some of the same things. I think Aaron's the closest I've seen to Danny, but he ain't Danny. Sorry, Aaron. Peyton Manning has the numbers, no doubt. But he doesn't make the passes. He doesn't have the arm Dan Marino does. So the combination of physical talent, mental capacity, just all of it put together, man. Guts, leadership. Dan Marino's the GOAT, man. And I'm not having an argument. GOAT 13, GOAT QB, maybe even the GOAT player in the NFL. There's no bias at all, y'all. None at all. All right. That's my ode to Dan Marino. I've been waiting a long time to get to this point, man. Sorry. All right. Next up. Shout out to Dan Marino again. Another quarterback that wore number 13 that was pretty good. Kurt Warner. 12 years across St. Louis, the Giants, and Arizona. Kurt Warner's career is so weird. We already know how he got to the NFL, was a grocery store bagger. We've heard that story a million times. Crazy stuff. But his story is one of peaks, valleys, and peaks. I don't know if I've seen another quarterback do that. You come out hot, you go blank, and then you're hot again. 32,344 yards passing for his career, 208 touchdowns, 128 interceptions. 1999 was a super year with the greatest show on turf, 4,353 yards, 41 touchdowns. 3 times he had 4K passing. 3 times he had 3K passing. Pretty good. 2001, he had 4,830 yards passing, 36 touchdowns. Damn. But then he takes a break, essentially. Comes back in 2008, 4,583 yards and 30 touchdowns. He essentially went 5 years after 2001 without a single 3,000-yard season. It's crazy. But he's a 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, Super Bowl 34 MVP, and a Hall of Famer. Great player, accurate, quick release, almost, not quite like Dan Marino's. But I don't know, honestly, I don't know if Kurt Warner should have been a Hall of Famer. I know he put up great stats. I know he has his ring. But the middle of his career is like blank. And the longevity just wasn't there to make up for that in my mind. Anyway, great number 13, though, Kurt Warner. So that was really all the quarterbacks I can remember that were number 13 that were great. Okay? So let's switch positions. I think this dude here is super underrated. He's going to end up in the Hall of Fame. He better. But whenever people make the list of top, whatever receivers in the league, he's never mentioned. And I'm talking about Mike Evans. Mike Evans has been a monster. 9 years in Tampa Bay. He's had 1,000 yards every year in the league. And when we talk about the best of the best, nobody talks about Mike Evans right now. The guy made people think Johnny Manziel was going to be a good pro in college. 4-time Pro Bowler. For his career, 683 receptions, 10,425 yards, 81 touchdowns. Obviously, he won a Super Bowl with the Bucs. He's durable as hell. 4 times he's had 10-plus touchdowns. 2016, monster year, 96 catches, 1,321 yards, 12 touchdowns. 2018 came back around with 86, 1,524, 8 touchdowns. Those are monster numbers. But we don't talk about Mike Evans. He's just been consistent, reliable. He's not a blazer running by you. He's not making one-handed catches, right? He just balls out. He mosses plenty of dudes, but he's a straight baller. Shout out to Mike Evans, man. No doubt one of the best number 13s ever. And if he keeps it up, certainly has to go into the Hall of Fame in my opinion. Another 13, Odell. OBJ, Odell Beckham. Now, he's had his career kind of messed up, right? But Odell was on the fast track to the Hall of Fame. Came out like gangbusters. You know the 8 years, New York Giants, Cleveland, the Rams, and all that, right? Won a Super Bowl with the Rams. But this dude came out first 3 years, bang, bang, bang. 91 catches, 1,305 first year. 96 catches, 1,450 second year. 101 catches, 1,367 his third year. This dude was like, pew! He was on his way, man. And then catastrophe hits. ACL, all of that stuff. Man. So far in his career, 531 catches, 7,367 yards, 56 touchdowns. 2014 Offensive Rookie of the Year, 3-time Pro Bowler, 5 times he's had 1K. Oh man. Injuries suck. And for Odell, I would have loved to have seen this cat. Like, he had the quickness, the speed. You couldn't guard this guy. No way. Nasty hands. No way. And the confidence to match. His game matched his confidence. No doubt about it. So shout out to Odell being one of the best number 13s ever. Injuries derailed this cat's career, but man, no doubt would have been a Hall of Famer. 100%. Another underrated dude, Keenan Allen. Very underrated, man. Keenan Allen is such a technician at his craft. Like, his routes are amazing. Like, he gives the nastiest of face, got dudes on skates. But nobody talks about Keenan Allen. Again, he's not running by people, but he just gets open and he catches the ball. 10 years with the Chargers, 796 catches, 9,287 yards, 52 touchdowns. That's a nice career for a lot of people. 5-time Pro Bowler, 5 times over 1K catching. 2017 was his high year with 102 catches, 1,393 yards, 6 touchdowns. Dang. Very underrated cat. I mean, I just love watching dudes like that play because the fast dudes, yeah, they're highlights. You're like, damn, he's fast. But the dudes that just know how to get open those are dudes that last for a long time because they know how to set you up, head and shoulder fakes and all that, man. Use their feet to their advantage. Like, no matter how slow they are, you can't run faster than them. You gotta run their speed. So they know how they can set you up. If you run too fast, you're gonna run right past them. They know how to change speeds, change body positions. Like, just a great receiver, man, Keenan Allen is. And unfortunately, most people don't give him his proper credit. But I'm going to give you your credit, Keenan Allen. One of the best number 13s and one of the best receivers in the NFL. Moving on. T.Y. Hilton, former Colt, played several years with Andrew Luck, catching touchdowns, deep passes. T.Y.'s already played 11 years. Dang. Indianapolis and Dallas. 638 catches, 9,812 yards, 53 touchdowns. Those are pretty good stats. T.Y. is like that. 4-time Pro Bowler, 5 times over 1K. 2016 was his high year with 91, 1,448, and 6 touchdowns. Underrated cat, quick, fast, really good hands. Unfortunately, as a small dude, you start to get hurt and break down. You know, that's what happened to him. But T.Y. was on a fast pace as well. Straight baller, man. One of the best number 13s ever. T.Y. Hilton. Honorable mention here. For those who remember Buffalo Bills football before Josh Allen, right? When they had some of the scrub quarterbacks playing. Stevie Johnson. Stevie Johnson played 8 years across Buffalo, San Fran, and San Diego. But Buffalo was his prime years. I just want to call him out as the number 13 because he used to give Revis some fits. And he used to give the Dolphins some fits, man. Just a baller, a dog. He had 3 1,000-yard seasons. Finished his career with 381 catches, 4,764 yards, and 34 touchdowns. But I just want to shout him out because I just remember that number 13, man, being crazy, doing up the Dolphins. And certainly when Revis Island was Revis Island, for some reason, he had trouble with this guy, Steve Johnson, number 13, Buffalo Bills. So shout out to him as well. But I won't hold you guys anymore, man. I enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed preparing this episode because it gave me a chance once again to talk about Dan Marino. Sorry, that's my childhood, and I'm biased. All right. Imagine the next guy who's gonna break Patrick Mahomes and break Peyton Manning's 55 touchdown record. You have to throw like 65, close to 70 touchdowns. That's how impressive it's gonna have to be to make, because right now everyone's throwing 40, right, getting close to 50. So to get that high of a mark again, you're gonna have to throw 60, 70 touchdowns, and that's probably gonna happen when probably Drew Brees' son or somebody comes into the league, right? And by then, quarterbacks are wearing red shirts. You can't touch them at all. They're just going to be standing back there playing tackle, playing touch while everybody else is playing tackle. That's how impressive Marino's numbers were, man. In a time period when dudes could literally kill the quarterback and the receiver. Anyway, y'all, I can go on and on about this stuff, but I appreciate y'all joining and hopping on. I'm going to catch you next time at number 12. Some good dudes at number 12. Great list at number 12. I'll catch you guys next time. Mike, Sports in the Rush. Peace.